Hi, I'm Thomas Fotes with Accounting Services Unlimited, where we're keeping you in business. I'm with Haley. Haley, go ahead and introduce yourself.
Hi, good morning. My name is Haley Norton, and I am actually a new addition to the ASU team. So thank you so much for having me today.
New and improved edition.
Yes. New and improved. But I'm very happy to be here to be talking with you today about why and how we can help keep businesses in business.
Yes. So what's the first thing we want to talk about today, Haley?
Well, it's on my understanding that today we're going to be talking about a little bit of a profit acceleration, how to give more value to your clients.
Yeah, a lot of people get stuck doing the same things over and over and over. And we talked about innovation a little bit in the last podcast, which is great. But there are some things we can do to make things better.
Right.
One of the things that we try to do here at ASU is to make sure that we fill the full needs of our clients. Our clients may want a lot of things, but what they need is some of the things that we offer. Mm-hmm. For example, we all know that ASU does accounting and bookkeeping for small businesses and then does taxes and sales tax. But some of our clients fall behind with their vendors, not because they don't have the money, but because they don't have time to keep up and they're just paying whoever screams the loudest. So ASU has something called bill pay, that we have a full staff of people, a full division of people whose job it is to help our clients pay their bills, keep up with those bills. Mm-hmm. And not only that, we also make sure, for example, if you're somebody that gets a lot of receipts or invoices from your vendors and then a statement at the end of the month, our staff, what they do is they make sure that you don't double pay anything. Make sure that nothing slips through the cracks. Because as we know, a lot of those vendors are also not paying attention. In a lot of cases, there's no malice involved. It's just disorganization on both sides.
Yeah.
So through our bill pay division, we're able to help you make sure you pay things on time. And in some cases, you even get a discount for paying a little before things are due and things like that. Mm-hmm. So that's kind of what we talk about when we try to listen to a client's needs, if they need something like that. Depending on what type of client it is, we also work with businesses that need invoicing done. That sometimes you would laugh that some of the clients that are hurting the most in cash flow haven't billed for 2 or 3 weeks or 4 weeks, where they have bills just hanging out there and they just don't bill, and then they try to bill everything all at once. And if they forget something or they miss something, well, so that costs them money.
Right.
So again, that's an additional service. It's something that you would call an upsell. Of course, when you're in a different type of industry, you try to look for ways that might benefit the client. For example, I have a client that sells embroideries. And, the embroidered t-shirts, embroidered shirts, everything. And just the other day we were talking, and he didn't think of offering a potential client cups and pens that they also do. It's just something additionally that they can do. And if you're already shipping things out to your client, it's not going to cost the client a whole lot more to just buy those and ship them out.
Right.
With restaurants, it's even easier. Teach your staff. Offer the appetizer.
Absolutely.
Offer the side dish. Offer, a little bit more. A lot of times the clients or the customers don't know that you have these things. It's the reason why the first thing they do when you sit down is tell you the specials. Mm-hmm. Sometimes I've walked into restaurants where I have to ask, are there any specials? And they're like, oh yeah, we've got all these specials. And you're like, okay, great.
Right. Because if you're going to walk up and you're going to offer me something that's off menu that I'm going to like more, and you're going to get about $10 more, why are you not going to tell me about it? But I think a big part of that too is making sure that your staff is educated enough to know to tell the customers those
what to
things.
Look for.
Exactly.
What to look for. And, if we're going to a restaurant, we're all hungry. Mm-hmm. But yeah, no, I mean, that's a big one.
Right. And I think a big part of that too is just asserting yourself as having more value than the customer originally thought. Because if they don't know about it, then what is it offering them? Nothing.
Right.
But if you come up and you tell them about it and you say, okay, keep going with the restaurant example, and you say, okay, you know what? This is on our specials menu. And then you also get a free drink with it. That provides so much more value to the customer, because then they think, oh, I'm getting a free drink with it. Yeah, I'm going to pay a little bit more for that. And
Correct.
on the back end of it, how much did that drink really cost the restaurant?
Right.
Maybe $2 compared to the $10 sell.
Right. You're mentioning bundling, right? So
a little bit.
Mentioning, I mean, and we always laugh at the State Farm commercials, right, about bundling, but even in our industry, and with service-based industries like ours, it's important. I know that if I add the bookkeeping, plus we offer the bill pay, plus we can knock out the tax returns for them, and we can put it together in a package that's reasonably priced, and the client works with us on that. Well, of course, your client's going to like that. My client's going to like that.
Right.
It makes things a lot easier for everybody, especially if they don't know that you're willing to do that.
Mm-hmm.
So keeping packages together, the combos at McDonald's have been there for a million years for a reason.
Yeah.
It's not just for people like me and Mike over there who's filming this thing. But those combos have been around for a while, so there's a reason. And look for ways. Not everybody has that in their industry, but if you look, obviously, if you can put a few things together for your clients, they always enjoy, and I think we all do, when you can put something together like that feels like a savings, and at the same time keeps you from having to look around somewhere else.
Correct.
For something.
That's exactly what I was about to bring up, because it kind of establishes more of a trust factor with you and that client.
Correct.
Because if they come to you and they say, oh, we just need bookkeeping work done, but then you look at their bookkeeping work and you see some things that could have been changed in other areas from services that you offer, how are you doing that? Are you telling them?
Well, of course. I mean, one of the main things that we look at, I mean, and this is going to be a little dark for some of you, it's sometimes we see a lot of bank charges on somebody's P&L. And it's interesting because sometimes the profit will be healthy, but you see an absorbent amount of bank charges, and that's because they're being charged for overdraft fees. Now, it doesn't mean they're bouncing the checks. It just means that the bank is having to cover those fees, whether they're taking money from another savings account or something like that. And so that happens. The other thing that catches my attention is when they pay penalties and interest on sales taxes or something, or state sales taxes or parish sales taxes or county sales taxes. And it's unnecessary as long as somebody's paying attention. And of course, we offer those services and we try to keep up with them. And the most dangerous one of all, and this is the scariest one, and if, I wish we could put a little skeleton here or crossbones, is payroll taxes is the most dangerous tax to be late on or to file late or to get wrong. And so a lot of times, and I'll be honest, we have a payroll company, we can handle it. And I refer it out to a lot of payroll companies. There are a couple of great payroll companies out there because those taxes are very dangerous. Right. So that is a value added that we offer, but also sometimes depending on who the client is, I will refer it out to a trusted vendor that I know that I've worked with for a long time, and go from there. I mean, that's part of what having somebody that is on your team, and that's what ASU is. We join a team. We work together with the clients to help them become more profitable, and also, of course, like we mentioned before, happiness, and to make the client happier because they're not worried about money anymore, or they're not worried about having to do that sales tax before the 20th of the month or payroll before the 15th and all those things.
They can focus on other things that are more important, that are going to help their business run and make them more money. Now, I know you said in a previous podcast that you were talking about let the client tell you their needs. Don't, go out of your way and do all these things because they're going to tell you. So with that and the bundle of the things or the added on services, how are you identifying that? Or is it in those first initial client meetings?
I said a lot of things in the last podcast. Yeah, of course. The initial client meetings, the initial client meetings are where we get the most amount of information. I try to keep them short. I know what I do, and I know how we can help a client out. But every single type of industry is a fingerprint. Every type of business owner is a fingerprint. Everybody has a different way of doing things. Nothing is the same. I don't care if it's a law firm, architects, engineers, bars, restaurants, bars, every single one is different. So when we first get that initial meeting, that first consultation, we get as much information as we can. Mm-hmm. Now, clients always forget because we spend a lot of time in that initial meeting. We've had them go up to 2 hours and 10 minutes recently. Yeah.
That was a jab at me. I had a customer in here a while, but we helped them.
Yeah, I almost had to feed them or put them on payroll. I know. And so, that's but we will take that kind of time out. And if I've got to, if we've got to move things around the calendar, that doesn't mean everybody has 2 hours and 10 minutes to spend with us. But every minute you spend with us at the beginning saves you time down the line. Mm-hmm. But the other thing is, I want to talk to you again and again and again and again. In other words, when we do the accounting, when we do the books, we don't just fire and forget. We don't just send you reports every month and forget about you. I want to talk to you every 3 months. I want to talk to you every 6 months. I want to talk to you before taxes are ready to be done. I want to dig for things that you've done that maybe you didn't think you needed to tell us. Mm-hmm. You bought a new car, you got to tell us.
Right.
You remodeled, you got to tell us. You bought a new piece of equipment, you got to tell us.
Yeah.
A lot of times we won't find out somebody has bought a fleet of vehicles until we start seeing the payments coming out from the financing.
I'm like, what's going on here?
Yeah, exactly. Why are you paying for it? $10,000 a month all of a sudden, right? Oh, we bought 4 trucks for the plumbing company. Things like that. So, and the only way we know that is by these consultations. Even if you want to just tell me you had a kid, which guess what? We need to know that too. Mm-hmm. If you had a baby, I'm going to tell you, wow, I didn't even know she was pregnant. Hopefully that was your wife, but
yeah,
me
too.
Things like that. But yeah, that's the importance of having those consultations and meeting all the time.
Right.
And the thing is, we don't charge anything for it.
Yeah.
It's part of our service. Why not take advantage of us? Mm-hmm. A lot of other firms, a lot of other bookkeepers don't take the time to meet with their clients because they're so busy.
Right.
As I like to say, I'm not busy. I got all the time in the world for you. Mm-hmm. I'm lying. I'm busy.
Yeah. I was about to say that is a lie because we are busy.
Right.
I think all consultations are great, whether, it's an existing customer or a new customer, because it just gives you more of an idea and establishes more of a relationship with that person. And that's where a lot of the value comes from whenever you're signing on to a new service. Like we were trying to talk about earlier, the trust factor of it all. That's a big part of it because you don't want to give someone access to your bank accounts, to the way that your money moves without having that.
We're seeing how you live.
Mm-hmm.
If you're telling me you're on a diet, but we see Popeyes on your credit card
we're going to
every
email
single
you and
day,
we're going to call you out for that Popeyes.
Probably going to call a cardiologist is what we're going to do and can do something about it. Mm-hmm. But it's the same with one of my favorites. And again, going dark is sometimes people will gamble and we'll see it on their credit cards or their bank statements.
Cards, huh? You'd be surprised.
Yeah, there are too many casinos in this town.
Yes, that's
for that.
true.
But it happens, and it's important to keep track of it, and it's important to see it. And a lot of times, somebody doesn't realize that skipping lunch and hanging out at the casino for an hour, you think it's no big deal. But when you show them the report, or you sit with them at a consultation, and you say, "Hey, look, you took cash out of the bank." 20 times this month, and even if it was $40, here's what you spent. Do you have the cash? Do you have this cash? Right? Yep. Because that automatically goes right to their profit where it becomes taxable because they're taking money out of the company. So not to mention the fact it might hurt their profitability in paying their bills. But those are the things that sometimes in a simple consultation, they may say, holy smokes, I didn't even think of it.
Yeah.
I go grab a burger at the bar down the street and they have poker machines. So, that comes out in the consultation.
Right.
Or the worst one at all is when they realize that the wife, because it's always the wife, It's always the wife that does this. Has been spending a little too much on Amazon, and we have to differentiate. It's funny. All the women in the room are laughing.
Yeah,
exactly.
Because we know that we're the problem.
We're the problem, right? Exactly. Just kidding, ladies. I'm sure some guys do it too. But anyway, yeah. So and those are the kind of things that we find on top of the fact that we ask them about, the cost of goods and things that they can do to save money, or maybe even towards the end of the year when it's time to buy more equipment, or put up more inventory,
right?
Things like that. Sometimes what I'll see if somebody becomes too profitable is I'll ask, how hard are you working? And if they're telling me they're spending 16-hour days in the office, hey, hire somebody, man.
Yeah.
Hire somebody.
Cut yourself some slack.
Yeah. Yeah. I had a client of mine tell me a long time ago that, he was killing himself. And at the end of the month, he was pretty much breaking even. And he realized he was spending just as much time doing quotes as he was selling stuff.
Yeah.
And I said, well, why don't you hire somebody well, he was a flooring company. So to install floors, and you just do the quotes, or vice versa. And one of the things he told me after he hired somebody was he said, I don't need practice. He said, when people come and all of a sudden they ask me for a quote and another quote and another quote, he just told the clients, he said, I don't need practice. He said, there's my pricing. And in the meantime, he said, I had time to do that. And the client came back and bought from him and said, I want you to install my floors. It's like, you were the first flooring company to tell me this is what you need.
Right.
So, so we don't need practice. You want to make sure that you don't need practice. Now, after everything we've talked about, remember, if you're looking at your P&L and you don't know what you're looking at, if you're looking at your balance sheet and you don't know what you're looking at, if you see your costs are high and you don't know how to fix that, if you're looking at some expenses, or even worse, if you're not looking at anything because you don't have time to put things together, or whoever is putting together accounting and bookkeeping for you, then give us a call. My name is Thomas Fotes with Accounting Services Unlimited.
Yeah, and I'm Haley Norton. Thank you, Thomas, for having me. This is my first time ever on a podcast, so maybe you'll ask me back. I don't know.
I doubt it, but okay.
Yeah, we'll see. We'll see. But no, thank you so much for having me. And don't forget, y'all, we are on all the socials as well. All of our accounts, Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, or X, I should say. Sorry, I'm still stuck in old habits. Accounting Services
Get with it, Haley. Get with it.
Yeah, so if you want to see clips from podcasts or upcoming episodes, just go ahead and give us a follow, a like, a subscribe, anything. We'll take it.
Can I do the phone number?
Yeah.
504-838-7140 for those of you that still use phones.
That's it. Y'all have a good day.
Bye.